So welcome everyone. We are going to be doing a little yoga today. And yoga is such a great tool because it helps us to be able to get in touch with how we're feeling. And sometimes it can help us change how we're feeling if we don't like how we're feeling. So one of the things that's really cool about how we feel is that we can think about it in terms of the weather. So you could, if you like weather and you like changes in weather and shifts in weather, maybe you think about what happens inside your own body and your own emotions and what happens in yourself in terms of the weather. So if you know what makes the weather happen, why we have different kinds of weather, maybe you raise your hand. So you can raise your hand and you can tell your teacher what makes weather. So one of the things that makes the weather is the sun's energy. In fact, it's the biggest thing that makes the weather. So weather is the result of energy. So what's really cool about our own emotions and what's going on in our own bodies is that it's also caused by our own energy. So we can think about what the energy is like in our body and what the weather is like in our bodies. So for me, if I feel really happy, I think about that as like a sunshiny, bright, beautiful day, not too hot, not too cold, just the right temperature. So maybe you take a minute right now to just think about what the weather feels like inside your own self. What is your weather like today? So you can think about it to yourself. So if it feels okay, maybe you just close your eyes and you just think about your own weather. And maybe take a few big breaths and think about what your weather is like. Or if your teacher would like for you to share, maybe you raise your hand, maybe you tell your teacher what your weather is like. So you might say it out loud, you might share. So my weather today, I would say my weather is a little bit sunny, but maybe a little bit windy too. So I have some little bit of extra kind of moving energy, like a little wiggly energy today. So a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of wind. Yes, maybe you have a combination of weather today. So just take a moment to think about what that weather is for yourself. And then the cool thing about yoga, like I said, is that we can use yoga and we can use our yoga forms and our yoga breaths in order to change how we're feeling inside if we want to. Or maybe you love how you're feeling and you just want to keep feeling that way, and that is totally fine too. So we're going to do some movement and some breath that would let us maybe change how we feel if we want to, or keep feeling the way we're feeling if we love how we're feeling right now. So one thing that we can do is called a volcano breath. So if we think about a volcano, maybe we think about a big mountain that's about to erupt. So maybe it's all bubbly and boily inside. So maybe we're like a volcano that's about to erupt. It feels all bubbly and boily inside. So we can just bring our arms up overhead, like we're a big volcano getting ready to erupt. We can make the peak of our volcano, and then we can let our volcano erupt. You can take a big breath in, and when you breathe out, think about your volcano erupting and let all that lava come out and up, and breathe out all that lava that comes all the way out and all the way down. And I forgot to mention, you could be sitting in your desk to do this, or you could be sitting on the floor. Either place is totally fine. Wherever you're at is completely fine. So just seated in a comfortable place, and we'll just do that a couple more times. Think about all that bubbly lava. We'll bring it all up overhead. Take a big breath in, and then let it erupt. Come out and down, all the way down to the mat or to the floor, or whatever you can reach down, whatever you can reach inside you, just letting all of that come out and down. Let's take just a couple more. So breathing in, bringing those arms up. All that lava erupts as we breathe out. Let it all go. Awesome. And then we can just do some movement with our breath. So maybe you can bring your shoulders up and then just let them come down a few times. Let them come up and down. It's like you're shrugging, like, I don't know, let it go. Shrugging, let your shoulders come up and down. I don't know. Breathe in, let it go. Breathe out. Good, maybe 2 more times. I don't know, breathe in, let it go. Breathe out. And we can look all around it. So it might be interesting to just look all around you. See everything you notice. Maybe you look in front of you, and then maybe you look to the side of you, and then maybe you turn a little bit more and see if you can look behind you, and then back to center. Look all around you. Maybe you notice stuff around you if you're turning and looking. What do you see? You might see your classroom, your teacher, or your room, or if you're at home, or your desk, or your friends. Just looking around yourself from side to side and all the way behind. Coming back to the front, turning to the other side, look behind. Notice everything you see all around you. And then turn to the other side one more time and back to the front. Awesome. So if you're seated on the floor, you might bring your feet together and make some butterfly wings for yourself. And sometimes our butterfly wings can be flapping. If our energy feels a little bit wiggly, maybe our butterfly wings are flapping. Maybe if we feel stormy, our butterfly wings are still and we're closed up in a little butterfly cocoon. Maybe if we feel sunshiny, maybe if our weather feels sunshiny, we sit up tall and look up and soak in all the sun. And we could do this with our legs. You could also do this with your arms if you're seated in your desk. So you could have your arms like butterfly wings and flap your butterfly wings. And again, you can just notice how your energy feels. Does it feel sunshiny? Do you want to open your butterfly wings up? Does it feel windy? Do you want to wiggle your butterfly wings side to side and all around and flap your butterfly wings? Or does it feel like you need to curl up in your butterfly cocoon and take a little rest? Either way, whatever feels good, we'll just take about 5 breaths in our butterfly, either with our butterfly legs or our butterfly arms. And you can move or you can curl up, whichever one you like. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come back up. Great job, guys. So another thing that we can do in our seat that sometimes can help change the way we feel or change our weather is to give ourselves a big hug. So hugs can feel great. Sometimes right now we don't get to hug as much as we used to or hug other people, but we can give ourselves a big hug anytime we want to. So you can bring your arms out to the side and then you can just bring one arm under the other and wrap your arms up and give yourself a hug. Maybe you even pat yourself on the back and say, good job, me. I'm doing great. And you might, again, just depending on how your weather feels or how your energy feels, maybe you rock side to side a little bit. Maybe you twist side to side a little bit, or you could curl up again. You could bring your chin to your chest and curl up as you give yourself your hug. And take a couple of big breaths. And then you can roll back up if you roll forward and open your arms out wide, and then bring the other one underneath and give yourself a hug on the other side. Good job, guys. Again, you can rock side to side, you can move, you can twist, you can move your head and neck if your energy feels really wiggly or your weather feels really windy, or you can roll forward if maybe you're feeling stormy clouds and gray skies. Whatever feels right to you. And take about 3 big breaths either way. 1, 2, 3. And then we can open those arms wide again, like we're inviting the sunshine to come out and look up at the sun. And then From here, we're gonna go ahead and make our way up to standing. So if you're still in your desk, you can come up to standing from your desk, or if you're on the floor, you might just come to your tabletop, come to your hands and knees, and then step your feet up towards your hands, and then come all the way up to standing. Either one is fine. And so we can start to find a little movement in our standing. So in standing, move the camera just a little bit because that lighting wants to go kind of crazy. In standing, we can find our mountain. So our mountain, just feet together, standing up nice and tall. And again, depending on how your energy feels, maybe you sway side to side, or you might be really still. So it just depends on how your weather feels. So maybe you're really still, or maybe you're moving a little bit. Yeah? Whichever one feels good. And then from here, we can reach up high. Maybe you bring your feet a little bit wider, a big, tall, strong mountain. We'll reach up high with our hands together for the peak of our mountain. And you might look up at your hands. And then you can reach all the way down towards your toes. Maybe you touch them and maybe you don't. Doesn't matter. And then we can reach all the way back up again. So remember at the beginning we did that volcano breath where we pretend like we are a volcano erupting. So we can do that in our mountain with our feet on the ground if you're standing, or again, you could still do this in seated if that's more comfortable for you. You can have your feet wide and you can reach up high and think about that peak of the mountain, and all that lava is gonna explode out of the top of your mountain. So you can take a big breath in here and then let your lava come out and down and pour down the mountain all the way down to your toes. Let's do that just a few more times if that's okay. We'll go all the way back up, reach up high, take a big breath in, and then let your volcano explode. Pouring all that lava down and out, letting it all go. One more time, reaching up to the sky, top of the volcano, top of the mountain. Take a big breath in. Let your volcano explode, breathing out down to your toes. Nice. And then it might feel good to just bring your feet a little bit wider, and maybe you clasp your elbows and just let yourself kind of hang out. You let go of all the volcano stuff, all the bubbly stuff, all the lava. Now you can just let yourself hang out and chill. Maybe your weather is feeling calmer. Awesome. And we'll just take 3 breaths here. 2, 1, and then we can come all the way back up. We can do our stars. So you can bring your feet out wide, arms out wide, 5 points of your stars. See if you can count your points. So we can lift up 1 foot, that's 1 point. You can lift up the other foot, that's the other point. You can lift up 1 hand, that's 3rd point. The other hand, you can wave, that's your 4th point. And then you can touch the top of your head, that's your 5th point. So we have 5 points to our star. And another thing we can do in our star is our shooting star. So again, it's a great way to just breathe in and bring your arms in and bend your knees, and then breathe out and let everything go. Breathe in, bring your arms in, bend your knees. Breathe out, let everything go. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in, bend your arms, bend your knees, breathe out. Let everything go. Awesome. From here, we can do some fun back challenges. So if we're feeling really if our weather is kind of stormy inside, sometimes if we do some balance, it can help us to really calm our energy down. The one thing we can do is called eagle. So we can start by just pretending we're sitting in a little chair. So maybe you just bring your hands to the tops of your legs like you're sitting in a little chair. Like that, guys. And then maybe remembering that hug, we can bring our arms out to the side and put one arm under the other. So this is like our eagle beak. And then from there, it's like an eagle perching on a branch. Maybe we balance on one foot and cross the other foot over. Crossing either our ankles or a little bit higher up. Either one, totally fine. And see if you can be an eagle perching on a branch. And take a few deep breaths. 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys. And then we can let our eagle take flight. Bring your arms out to the side. My kitty wants to be in the picture too. So we can bring our arms out to the side and see if we can be an eagle flying on the other side. So we'll do the same thing. Sit down in your little chair first. You can bring your hands to the tops of your legs. And then see if you can bring your arms for that hug again. Maybe you bring the other one underneath this time. Or maybe it's the same height, it doesn't matter. And then we'll just lift one foot up and over. See if we can cross. You can keep your toes down on the mat if you need to or want to, or you can bring your leg up higher, whichever one. Let's see if you can be here like an eagle perching on a branch for 3, 2, 1. And then we can take flight like an eagle flying, soaring through the sky again. Nice job, guys. So we can bring our legs a little bit wider and see if we can do a little triangle. So our legs are like the base of the triangle. And then we can reach one hand up high to touch the top of the triangle. So we have our big triangle reaching up the sky. And then switching out and doing that on the other side, reaching up high for the top of the triangle. And maybe you just keep moving. Maybe your weather still feels a little wiggly and a little bit windy and you need to keep moving. So you can just reach one hand up and then the other and just move side to side. Or maybe your weather is starting to feel a little bit calmer and you need to just stop and rest on one side for a little bit, for a couple of breaths. And then the other side. Either way, totally fine. One thing that can help us sometimes if we feel really like a little anxious or like our weather is feeling a little bit scared, one thing that can help us, there's a shape called warrior that we can do. So we can tap one leg and turn our toes toward the top of the mat or toward the front of the room. And then bend that knee on that side and bring our arms out wide. So we're like a really strong warrior. And you could stay really still like a strong warrior and look forward, or you might just straighten your leg and then bend it again and keep moving a little bit if you're still feeling a little windy, a little wiggly. Awesome. And then we can switch sides so we can straighten our leg, bring those toes in, tap the opposite leg, turn the toes in the opposite direction, bend that knee and bring our arms out so that we're doing same move on the other side. Maybe you bend and straighten your leg, or you might be still and looking forward like a strong warrior. Good job, guys. And then we can straighten that leg again, bring both toes forward. And from here, we can play with one more. We can do one more balanced shape if you'd like to. And this is a silly one. So this can sometimes change our weather from feeling maybe not great to getting a little silliness in, to feeling really fun and silly. So we can do a little flamingo. So if you've ever seen a flamingo, so you might raise your hand and let your teacher know if you've ever seen a flamingo. They're very silly looking. They're pink and they have really long legs and they love to stand around on one leg. So we can pretend like we're a flamingo. and lift one leg up and tuck it up in the back, just like a flamingo would. And if you have your desk handy or a wall handy or something handy that you can help yourself balance, if you need to, you can hold on. And then you can reach back and see if you can grab that foot. And you might or you might not. You might just stay with your foot lifted. Either way is fine. Maybe you bring your opposite hand up overhead, like your flamingo's big long neck. Maybe you do a silly flamingo move or a silly flamingo dance if you want to. And see if you can hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then let it go. Awesome, guys. Now we'll see if we can be a flamingo on the other side. So you can shake it out a little bit if you want to. And then we'll try it on the other side. So you can just bend your leg like a flamingo standing on one leg. You can catch hold of it if you want to, or just not. Doesn't matter. Either way is fine. Maybe reach the opposite arm up and be a big, silly flamingo. Reaching your neck up high to the sky for 3, 2, 1. Awesome job, guys. All right. From here, we're going to come back down to seated. So if you are already sitting, that's totally fine. If not, we'll come down to our seats, either in your desk or on the floor, whichever one you want to. And from here, we're going to do a couple more things that help us just let our weather start to calm down. If it's still windy, maybe our weather starts to get really calm. Maybe it's a little bit cloudier or still sunshiny. Maybe just check in with yourself and see how your weather feels right now. And then we'll see if we can do a little boat together. So if you're in your desk, totally fine. Maybe you turn sideways so you can put your legs out in front of you or out to the side. If you're sitting on the floor, we'll do this on the floor. So what we can do is we can create a little boat that lets us wave bye-bye to anything that we don't want to have in our boat. So you can lift one foot up and then lift the other foot up. You can do this in your desk, just lifting your feet up. And then you might lift one arm up and then lift the other arm up. And then maybe you think about anything that you don't want in your boat and you just wave bye-bye to it. Bye-bye. Awesome, guys. And then you can come all the way back down. And from here, we can come back to our seat and back to our butterfly. So maybe your weather has changed a little bit. So you can bring your feet together if you want to, or remember if you're in your desk, you can bring your arms behind your head, hands behind your head. Or maybe you do both. Either one is fine. And maybe you notice how your weather feels right now. So maybe it feels still windy, you want to flap your wings, you want to keep flying. Maybe it feels a little bit calmer, so you might want to curl up like a little butterfly taking a nap. And just take a few breaths wherever you are. Just count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome, guys. So from here, we can do one last breath together that will maybe let us let go of any other emotions or weather that we don't want to have with us right now. So this one's called throw it away breath. So what you can do if you want to is you can imagine gathering up all of the emotions, anything that you don't really want to have inside of you. So you can gather them all up to the center of your body. So whether that's worry or stress or anxious, or maybe if you're thinking about whether it's cloudy weather or stormy weather, or it's too hot maybe, or too cold, anything that you don't want to have. You can gather it all up to the inside and maybe imagine that you're holding a little ball. You can put all of that stuff in that little ball right between your hands. And you can take a big breath in, and when you breathe out, you can send all of that out. So you can throw it away. Throw it away from you so you can let your hands come out and release all the stuff that you don't want to have in. So we can bring our hands right together, take a big breath in, imagine all the stuff that you don't want in that little ball, and then just throw it away as you breathe out. Do that 2 more times. Take a big breath in, throw it away, let it all out. 1 more. Take a big breath in and throw it all away. So I'm gonna give you guys just about a minute, just in quiet time, to kind of notice how your weather feels right now. So maybe your weather felt one way at the beginning of class, and it might still feel exactly the same, or it might have changed. So just taking a minute in quiet to notice how your weather feels right now. All right, guys, so thank you guys so much for joining me for a little yoga today. If you have time later today, maybe you draw a picture or let your teacher know what your weather feels like. Or maybe you just draw it for yourself when you get home and just kind of think about how your weather feels. And it's just a great way to be able to tune in and check in with how we're feeling throughout the day anytime. So thank you so much for joining me and for doing a little yoga with me today. We'll see you next time. Bye.